You know the number. You've known it for 2 years. You don't say it out loud, not to your parents, not to your friends, not to anyone who asks how you're doing. You are 24 years old. Your student loan balance is $38,400. Your car loan is $6,200. Your checking account has $340 in it, and payday is 9 days away. You do not think of yourself as someone with a negative net worth. Nobody teaches you to use that phrase. The phrase sounds like something that happens to other people. People who made mistakes. You tell yourself you didn't make mistakes. You just went to school. You buy groceries on Tuesday. You put back the good olive oil. You get the store brand. You stand in the cereal aisle for 4 minutes doing math that doesn't quite work. You understand at some level that this is temporary, that it gets better, that everyone starts here. That is the first thing they teach you. It is also the first thing that is not entirely true. The first rule of net worth, the number you don't track still controls your life. It just controls it quietly. It takes you 4 years. 4 years of the store brand olive oil. 4 years of the spreadsheet you check every Sunday morning before anyone else is awake. 4 years of transferring $200 to savings and then, sometimes, twice, transferring it back. But the number is gone. The loan is paid. The car is paid. We have $1,100 in savings and $0 in debt. And for 3 days you feel something close to elation. Then you do the math. Your college roommate, the one who graduated with no debt because of his parents, has been investing since he was 22. He didn't think about it. It just happened. His net worth is now $67,000. He is the same age as you. He has the same job title. Zero is not the beginning. For the people who started at zero, zero was always the beginning. For you, zero is 4 years late. You sit with that for a long time. You don't mention it to anyone. You don't post about paying off your loans. You just close the spreadsheet and open it again the next Sunday. The second rule of net worth, zero isn't a starting line. For most people, zero is already behind schedule. The race started without you. You have a number with a comma in it. It is $14,300. It lives in a high-yield savings account you opened after reading an article at 11 p.m. on a Tuesday. The interest rate is 4.7%. You check it more than you check your email. Something shifts, not dramatically, not in the way movies suggest it does, but you sit slightly differently in conversations about money. When a colleague complains about being broke, you say nothing. When someone mentions a credit card balance, you feel something you are not proud of. You are not rich. You know you are not rich, but you are not afraid of the mail anymore. You are not calculating whether you can afford the copay before you make the doctor's appointment. That specific fear, the medical math, the small print math, the is this an emergency or can I wait math, has gone quiet. You don't realize yet that this quiet is the actual product, not the $14,300, the absence of panic. You think the goal was to have money. The goal was always to stop being afraid. The third rule of net worth. The first $50,000 doesn't change your lifestyle. It changes your nervous system. You hit $100,000 on a Thursday. You are at work when it happens. You refresh the brokerage app into the bathroom. The number is $100,340. You stare at it for a moment. You wash your hands. You go back to your desk. You don't tell anyone. You've read that $100,000 is the milestone. The point where compound interest stops being a concept and becomes a force you can feel. You check the projections. If you add nothing else, ever, the account will be worth $432,000 in 25 years at 6% annualized. You read that sentence 3 times. Then you look around the office. Same job, same salary band, same title on the org chart. Your colleague to the left has $11,000 in credit card debt. Your colleague to the right has a $4,200 balance on a furniture loan from 3 years ago. You know this because you talk about money now carefully in the way people do when they're starting to understand that it matters. The gap isn't income. You make almost the same amount. The gap is the $200 a month you didn't spend on the things they spent it on, compounded over 6 years. That's it. That's the whole distance. You don't feel superior. You feel something more complicated than that. You feel the weight of how much of this was behavior versus luck versus what your parents said or didn't say at the dinner table when you were 11. The rule, the fourth rule of net worth. At $100,000, you stop. Believing the gap is about income. You start understanding it's about what was modeled for you before you had any say in the matter. You said a number once, years ago. You said, when I hit $500,000, I'll feel like I've made it. You hit $500,000 last spring. You didn't feel like you'd made it. You moved the goalpost to $1 million. You told yourself this was discipline. It was probably something else. The number now is $740,000. Split across a brokerage account, a 401k, and $180,000 in home equity. You track it weekly. It goes up, it goes down. On the bad weeks, you feel it in your chest in a way you didn't expect because you thought having money would make you less afraid of losing it. You were wrong about that. You've started lying by omission at dinner parties. Someone asks how your investments are doing and you say fine and change the subject. You've learned that wealth, even on the approach to wealth, changes the texture of friendships in ways nobody warned you about. Not jealousy, not resentment, just a subtle recalibration, a slight pulling back. You feel it before. You can name it. You start to understand why wealthy people don't talk about money. It's not modesty, it's friction management. The rule, the fifth rule of net worth, above a certain number, silence becomes a social strategy. Wealth starts requiring its own kind of maintenance, and most of that maintenance is invisible. You are a millionaire. The word is strange. It sounds like a movie character. It sounds like someone who owns a yacht or a second home in a market you've seen on television. You own neither of those things. You drive a 2019 Honda CR-V with 74,000 miles on it. You still check prices at the grocery store, not because you have to, because it's been 15 years and the habit is load-bearing. The number is $1.3 million. You hit it on a Tuesday. You went to work. What actually changed is harder to describe. You stopped doing the math before making the doctor's appointment a long time ago. But now there's a second layer of quiet you didn't expect. You stopped doing the math before making almost any decision. Not because you're careless, because the math always comes out the same way. That freedom is real. It is also isolating. Some friendships have quietly ended in the last 2 years, not dramatically, no confrontation, just a gradual drift, like a tide going out. You're optimizing differently now. You're thinking about asset allocation and estate planning, and whether your will reflects your actual intentions. Your friends from your 20s are thinking about different things. Neither of you is wrong. You miss some of those people. You don't say that. You attend a dinner with 4 other people in a similar range. The conversation is different, efficient, specific. You feel at ease in a way you haven't felt in years. You also feel something colder underneath it. You're not sure when you started curating your social world for utility. You're not sure you dislike it. The rule, the sixth rule of net worth, the million doesn't change your lifestyle as much as you expected. It changes which rooms feel comfortable. And some of the old rooms stop fitting. Nobody can tell by looking. This is intentional. You drive the same CR-V. Your house is a 4-bedroom in a suburb that signals successful, professional, not wealthy. You've thought carefully about this. Visibility at this level is a liability. It changes how people relate to you. It changes what they ask for. It changes the temperature of every room you walk into. The number is $8.4 million. It is spread across taxable accounts, retirement accounts, 2 real estate holdings, and a stake in a friend's business that may or may not ever be worth what the spreadsheet says it's worth. You have an estate attorney now, a CPA who specializes in high net worth tax strategy. You have discovered that above a certain number, money does not stop creating problems. It creates a new category of problems that require professionals to manage. Irrevocable trusts, gift tax exclusions, family limited, partnership, beneficiary designations that haven't been updated since 2014. Your parents are aging. You've started quietly paying for things, not drawing attention to it, just making things easier. You tell yourself this is generosity. It is also the first time you've understood that money can rewrite the power structure of a family without anyone naming what just happened. Your children are 9 and 12. They have never seen you stressed about money. They have never seen you put back the good olive oil. You're not sure what that cost them yet. The seventh rule of net worth. Above $5 million, money stops solving problems. It starts funding the management of entirely new ones, most of which you couldn't have predicted from where you started. There is a person who manages the people who manage your money. You have a family office. The term is technical, a private wealth management structure built exclusively for one family. You did not set out to build one. You set out to invest well. At some point, the complexity exceeded what any single advisor could manage, and the structure appeared around you like a building you hadn't noticed going up. The number is somewhere above $40 million. You have stopped tracking it weekly. The tracking is someone else's job now. What you track is the allocation. Liquid versus illiquid. Domestic versus international. Growth versus preservation. You think about decades, not years, not quarters. You have rewritten your will 3 times in 7 years. Your children are in college now. They know, in the abstract, that the family has money. They don't know the number. You haven't decided when to tell them, or whether the number matters, less than the framework you hope you've given them for thinking about it. That hope is doing a lot of work. You think sometimes about the person you were at 24, standing in the cereal aisle, doing math that didn't come out right. You are not nostalgic for that. But you understand now that the pressure of that moment, the necessity of it shaped something in you that is genuinely useful. A relationship to scarcity that made you careful, made you pay attention. Your children have never felt that pressure. You built your entire financial life to ensure they never would. You do not know yet what you built out of them in its place. The 8th rule of net worth, the thing that built you, scarcity, urgency, necessity. You've spent your life eliminating it. You've succeeded. Now you wait to see what it cost. Somewhere, right now, someone just opened a spreadsheet for the first time. They typed in 2 columns, assets, liabilities. They subtracted the second from the first. The number was negative. They stared at it for a moment. They closed the laptop. They are 24 years old. They think the number is a problem to be solved. They don't know yet that the number is a mirror, that it will reflect back with uncomfortable accuracy every decision they make and every decision that was made for them before they had a voice in any of it. They don't know that the cereal aisle math is the beginning of something, that the Sunday spreadsheet becomes a practice, that the practice becomes a posture, that the posture held long enough becomes a life. They close the laptop, they go to sleep. The number sits there in the dark. It always does. It always will.